There's an old saying that for every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. And in the case of Pixar, their April showers were when last year's film about a boy being mistaken as an ambassador of Earth tanked at the box office. Their flowers in May came when their next feature, Hoppers, not only received nearly unanimous critical acclaim, but also became a worldwide smash hit on its opening weekend. And I have to say, this new original from the Hopping Lamp showed a ton of potential when it was first announced. Not only did it have a fun and unique premise about a teenager's brain being planted into a robot beaver, but it also marks the directorial debut of Daniel Chong. He started as a storyboard artist at Pixar, but is best known as the creator of Cartoon Network's modern classic We Bare Bears, a series I find both hilarious and heartwarming. But hey, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's hop right into this film. A rebellious young teenager named Mabel Tanaka has been trying, and often failing, to protect a glade that helped form a bond between her and her departed grandmother. It is in danger of being destroyed and replaced by a giant new freeway led by Mayor Jerry. However, she discovers her one big chance after stumbling into Dr. Sam's laboratory, where her secret invention allows a human consciousness to hop into a robot animal, hence the name of this film. So, despite the warnings of Dr. Sam, Mabel hijacks a robot beaver, and with the help of King George, she does whatever it takes to stop Jerry's plan to demolish the glade.
Oh, hey! Squirrel!
Yeah?
Do you know where I could find a beaver?
Well, you're a beaver.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. But,
Now, you may think this would just be your typical animated feature where all the animals work together to protect their home and the humans are depicted as the bad guys. However, keep in mind that Pixar has often found ways to take something that's a cliche and completely turn a 180 on what you'd expect. One criticism I have heard is that the first act is the weakest part of the film. However, I personally think it does a good job, especially on how Mabel is introduced, the world building of Beaverton is effective, and we even get a small taste of the film's humor. But once Mabel becomes a robot beaver, everything kicks into high gear. As Mabel discovers what the animals do in their new habitats, she meets some new faces such as Loaf, Ellen, and Tom, and the humor gets even funnier. The film has the same comedic style as Chong's We Bare Bears, from the slapstick to the sight gags to the dialogue to even the nonsensical humor, including one gag that had me breaking up laughing. However, it gets even more twisted, more shocking, more chaotic, and especially more exciting in the third act when the Council of the Animals get involved. But I don't want to go into full detail because you'll have to see this movie for yourself.
The Animal Council has been summoned. The shrill beaver is right.
yeah!
Their treachery ends here, now!
Yeah!
Let's squish the humans!
Wait, squish?
And even with all that, the movie still includes strong emotions and a powerful message to balance out the madness. As the movie shows, both the animals and the humans can share one planet, and we have to find ways to communicate and understand each other to live side by side. This is where King George, voiced by Bobby Moynihan, comes in. He may start as this naive ruler of the forest with his silly pond rules and listens to 80s music to motivate his tribe, which, come to think of it, it would also explain why former Devo player Mark Mothersbaugh is the film's composer. But when you get to know his side of the story, he's just doing the best he can so that animals and even the humans can live together in peace. He represents the shades of gray in a world that's usually black and white.
No matter who you are, you look out for others who need looking out for. There. Pond rules.
Mayor Jerry, played by John Hamm, may seem to be this self-absorbed politician who is building a freeway to boost his votes. But you'll be surprised that Jerry isn't a threat to the animals compared to the true villain of this film, which, again, I'm not going to spoil. And finally, we have our protagonist, Mabel, voiced by Piper Curda. During her childhood, Mabel was very passionate about saving all kinds of animals, much to the stress of both the school and her parents. But now as a fully grown teenager and the glade that she and her grandmother have fond memories over is in grave danger, that's when she goes all beast mode, whether she's a human or a beaver. Her persistence and especially her rage can sometimes get the better of her. And that's why she not only has King George, but also Dr. Sam and her assistants who try to calm Mabel down. They warn her that her actions could make the situation much worse. As for the animation, that also deserves a lot of credit. The people at Pixar studied Daniel Chang's signature character designs and translated them beautifully into three-dimensional forms, blending perfectly with either the small town or the natural forests of Beaverton. But one feature I find to be the real standout of the visuals is that the animals are viewed through different perspectives. When seen from the human eye, the animals have these cute dots for eyes. But with the Hopper's technology, the animals' facial features are just as expressive as those of humans. So to make this highly detailed review short, Hoppers can be best described as Pixar presenting both classic and modern in this latest film. They deliver us their traditional storytelling and memorable characters while adding a new spin to a familiar tale. They also reveal a fresh, new, cutting-edge animation courtesy of some new talent at the studio. It's important to remember that while it's good to see some of the original forefathers like Pete Docter and Andrew Stanton still around, crafting new features, we should also be grateful for a new generation of artists bringing their own stories to life like Enrico Casarosa, Domi Shi, and now welcoming back Daniel Chang to the Pixar family. Speaking of the former, we better get ourselves ready for the next Toy Story film with Stanton taking charge of the 5th installment. But in the meantime, show some support to this fresh new blood of Pixar by hopping into theaters for a new breed of animated heart and laughs.